Good morning, everybody. I toast to you and all you do. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today is the full moon. Yesterday was the solstice. It was the longest day of the year, so we have this very strong, vibrant masculine energy right now. We have a very motivating, this is when we really put the energy into everything that we've been sowing, when we've really planted all of our seeds and we are putting our energy into manifesting the best outcome that we possibly can, and really focusing on taking those next steps and making things happen. And it's always ironic and amazing to me when the solar calendar and things like that really match up with what's going on in the universe, and the interconnectedness of the messages that we receive from the planets when they're in their locations, and interacting with each other. Because with where the moon is right now and everything that's going on with the moon and the universe and the solar chart and the natal chart right now, it is also very motivating. Let's get up, let's make these changes, let's do these things. And it's about really making those steps. You know, we've talked and planned and thought and really just been processing all of this information, and now it's time to put all of that information to work. So let's talk about this full moon. So this is the strawberry moon, and that is so named because now our strawberries are ripe. So if you have strawberries outside, or you know somewhere to gather wild strawberries, now is a great time to go out and look for them and to harvest some fresh berries. They're delicious. And that's where the name for this moon comes. It is that early ripening of these first fruits. So, you know, metaphorically, you could say that we are at a point now in the year cycle where both the sun and the moon align together to say, let's begin to see the benefits of what the hard work that we've been doing. Let's get those early fruit out of our work, and let's really dig in deep and use that as a motivating factor to go forward and continue to manifest this next step, to manifest the things that we've been planning and to work through that. So that's, again, it's just part of that like irony and the whole interconnectedness. So it is, the full moon is today. It happens tonight, this evening. So if you're in Europe or Australia, it will happen tomorrow. And it is a Sagittarius moon. So here is, it's really a complicated chart, okay? As you can see, we have a lot going on right now. It's not just one or two lines. We have a very colorful moment. There is, as you can see, I got a long list of things to talk about. And we'll talk more about this today at RT in Astrology. That's why I have this printout. Oh, getting so nice. And so that is a free event down at our store. You're welcome to come down. It's from 12. It's scheduled 12 to 1. It normally runs a little bit longer, but it's a lot of fun, and I encourage everyone to come down. That's Hidden Gem in Greeley. And we talk about astrology. So we'll talk more about what I talk about in this video. And, you know, we talk about people's personal astrology and how it kind of connects with what's going on. So, the only planet right now in retrograde is Peleus, and so that's one of the dwarf planets. It's retrograde. So Peleus is like the female warrior, justice, wise leader of the community. It's often seen as the female counterpart to Mars, and it brings like a very wise, noble, do the right thing no matter what kind of energy. So when it goes into retrograde, it's asking you, are you doing the right thing? Are you doing the just thing? Are you doing the thing that is right by you and your community? And are you using your power and wisdom effectively to make these changes, or to do your thing, or to achieve your goals, or whatever it is that you're doing? Are you doing it the right way? We often overlook the idea of getting fast money or easy money, or doing things the easy way to achieve it quick. We live in a world of instant gratification, and we just want everything now, the easiest, fastest, cheapest, quickest, most possible, best way. Okay, so that's not always the best way. Sometimes it takes hard work. Sometimes it takes really buckling down. Sometimes it takes making decisions that go against what you know, it's just one of those moments. So Peleus really calls out that energy. And Peleus wants you to know that it is more important for you to do the right thing than it is to do the easy thing. It's more important to stand up and be righteous and be able to be like, no, I did the right thing, and I am humble and wise and make these right decisions and really move forward in that way to manifest what it is I'm trying to do. So now let's move into our major transits and the things that are kind of going on otherwise. So we have a couple big conjunctions. We have Uranus conjunct to Sedna, conjunct to Jupiter, and they are fairly close. So this really brings the energy of that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that we felt recently, at the last full moon. We're really feeling that again now, but with Sedna in the middle, it brings in this cause for change. So even more change, like big change. So Uranus is our planet of big change, and Jupiter is our expanding energy. And so this is a time when we could have really big disruptive change with Sedna in the middle, whose transformation. So the myth of Sedna is that she wouldn't marry anyone in her land. She just couldn't find somebody to marry. So she married someone else. And when she went to this foreign place, it was a beautiful, amazing sea kingdom. And it was amazing. And then her father came and took her back. And the people in the new kingdom were really upset that she was leaving, and they turned the ocean against the ship. And to try to rectify the situation, the king threw his daughter over the boat. When she tried to grab on to save her life, he chopped her fingers off and threw them in the ocean, and then he cut her up and kind of threw her in the ocean. And as she sank to the bottom of the sea, her fingers transformed into seals, her body transformed into whales, like all of the pieces of her kind of transformed into the sea creatures. And she provides the bounty of the sea. So for the Inuit people, she is very important. They believe that if you don't treat her right, then she will take people from you. She needs sailors to comb out her hair because she no longer has fingers. So she will take people, and she also brings them all life. All of the bounty, all of the fish, everything that they rely on to survive comes from her in the ocean. And so her transformation is starting from this this place of, abandonment and abuse, and, not really fitting in anywhere, and really feeling out of place, and just not a good place. But through that, she was transformed into this amazing thing that provides bounty and love and gives all of these great things, and provided all of these beautiful creatures for the ocean. And so that transformation in conjunction with the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction is very disruptive. I see a lot of people who are in a place where there have been so many realities just thrown at them, coming from their own family, coming from their own community. Our governments are getting all of these crazy things about our governments coming out. Just all of this information is coming at us, and it is really feeling like we are these tragic victims of the world around us, just as a Sedna was. And now we must manifest that change. We must expand our reality. We must move out and see the colors around that destruction and really make those big changes. Make a huge transformation where on the other side of that, you're going to come out with prosperity, great opportunities, just this bounty that is reoccurring. And so that conjunction in itself really speaks loudly. Now that conjunction is also in a finger of fate, and we talked about this a little bit before in the last video, and that this is going to be a long-running finger of fate between Haumea, Sedna, and Neptune. Neptune's about to go into retrograde, so that is going to kind of not necessarily disrupt, but really point out the illusions and delusions that we see as we're stepping forward in this transformation. So both Sedna and Haumea are grand transformative goddesses who create great change. This is also all water elements because Neptune, Sedna, and Haumea are all water deities. So that brings in this emotional, major transformation. When we think about how water transforms, it changes form, you know, from solid to liquid to gas, and it makes these major transformations. And that's what kind of transformation we're making right now. I mean, from like a liquid to a solid, from a solid to a liquid to a gas, whatever. We're making those major transitions. And through these transitions, we are learning, we are growing, and we will step out on the other side, being able to see from a higher perspective with the bounty in which we need to provide ourselves with a stable future and to move forward more productively. And it's also going to be hard though, because this isn't a finger of fate between pleasant entity, like this is a really these are disruptive changes. You know, Haumea created the islands through volcanoes, which is very destructive in itself and continues to make those transformations. But that volcanic ash and earth provides some of the most beautiful soil to make the most beautiful bounty of harvest of everything, provides life for all kinds of creatures. Sedna, same thing. She major transformation, as we just talked about. And then Neptune is the energy of illusions. It is the energy of the divine perspective. It is this very different, it's like a different way to see things. It can often be seen as a fog, but I think as it goes into retrograde and as it is in this finger of fate, it really is highlighting the need to step above that fog, to take off your blinders, and to really see what is going on around us. You know, Neptune has also been sextile to Pluto, which we're going to get to in a second, but that in itself is bringing out all of these truths. Pluto removes the fog, removes the doubt, the illusions, and allows you to see from the perspective of Neptune in that higher place. When you think about it, it is challenging to be able to see from an omnipotent point of view, because you're seeing everything, and that perspective can be really hard to take in. And so Neptune is normally cloudy, it's foggy, it provides little glimpses, it gives us dreams and illusions, and you know, it helps us touch with our intuition, but it doesn't often really unveil everything. But right now we are in this place of unveiling with the bright energy of the sun and the solar and the summer solstice. We also have the full moon in Sagittarius, which brings on this light of like, what do I need in my world? Interestingly, the sun and moon are at 1 degrees of their elements, so Cancer and Sagittarius with the sun and the moon, and that 1 degrees, we are just stepping into these new energies. So Cancer is that mother, nurturing, home, safe, secure, I have this good foundation. And Sagittarius is about finding the logical, realistic solutions to problems outside of our home, and to really step outside of that and to grow. It has a lot to do with, like, you know, making big changes in our society, doing things in the community. And so it is that axis and finding that balance and really manifesting like a healthy place to step forward, because you need a good balance between your home and your safe place and how you nurture yourself and how you step out into the world and interact with other people. You need that too. You need to be able to go and support other people. You need to be able to be supported by other people. You need to build those relationships and find that success so that, you know, we can all be productive, happy, healthy people. So that finger of fate is really pointing to that. Change, make things happen. So this finger of fate sits in what I call a cup of plenty. Let me find, I drew a picture of it. So this is one of those really complicated parts, but you can't take anything out because it's the same planets. Okay, so we have Neptune, we have Sedna and Uranus and Jupiter, we have Vesta, Pluto, and Haumea. So here is our finger of fate. Here is our cup of plenty. So we have Pluto is trine to Sedna, and Vesta is trine to Neptune. Pluto and Vesta are at opposition of each other, and it creates this bowl or cup of plenty because it's all made up of trines and sextiles. So these are very beneficial angles. These are very much like loving embraces of each other's energy and really feeding off of the positive interactions between the two planets. Within those sits that finger of fate, which then makes this T-square between Haumea, Pluto, and Vesta. So altogether, it looks like a little squished pentagram. And Haumea is sextile to the moon. So the moon is adding in this like beaming highlight onto your emotional health and well-being, transforming that, healing from that, doing these things that really help you to heal your emotions and your past traumas and to step out of that victim role. Because Haumea was also scorned by the people, and well, her people were scorned by another people, and so that's why they had to go out and make Hawaii. So they both, Haumea and Sedna, come from this place of like sadness, destruction, hardship, and yet they step out of that and create something amazing. And so this finger of fate is really encouraging that. And it sits in this very beneficial, like I said, cup of plenty. And so Pluto, Neptune, and Sedna are all long-running in a minor trine that gives deep insight to your higher perspective. So this is half of that cup. And these are all slow-moving planets. So just like this finger of fate is going to stay, this sextile is going to stay. We've had Neptune and Pluto sextile for quite some time. And we've been really feeling that pioneering energy. It's been asking you to look out, look above, look past, expand your horizons. And now that Sedna has come into that, it's like as you're expanding your horizons, now let's make these big changes. See the reality of your situation and make the changes that you need to in order to heal and move forward. And then on the other side of that, you have Vesta and Neptune in Sedna in another sextile, and that brings an emphasis on your devotions and your faith and your spirituality, because Vesta is that energy of, so you think about the Vestal Virgins and their dedication to the temple and to their place in the world and how important this was. And Vesta really calls on that type of devotion, really being dedicated to what burns your internal flame. And faith and spirituality should be an important part of that. That is part of our homeostasis as a human. It's one of the 5 aspects. If you're interested in life coaching, let me know. I can help you out. We'll talk about those 5 stages of your life, 5 places in your life to find homeostasis. Anyways, so this is big change, like life-shattering change happening right now all over this chart with Jupiter, Sedna, and Uranus together. It is like a tsunami through your life. And if you have changes, okay, so wait, let's take a step back, because some people are going to hear this and be like, I don't have crazy things happening in my life right now. That doesn't affect me. All of these things started back in 2020. We think about what was going on in 2020. Okay, so all of these things started back in 2020 is when a lot of this cycle started. And then a little bit before that. But as we are having Pluto come into Aquarius and we're having these big shifts, Sedna moving into Gemini, Uranus moving into, Sedna moving into Cancer, Uranus will be moving into Gemini, and these are big transitions. This isn't like a little shift. These planets are very slow moving, so they'll be in these locations in these moments when one of the astrologers I watch, she says this is the Earth's axis. And so they are crossing the Earth's axis as they make these transitions through from one sign to the other. And it really emphasizes their energy. So Neptune right now is at, it's still at 29 degrees. Uranus is at 25 degrees. Jupiter just stepped into Gemini. Sedna is at 1 degree. Haumea is at 1 degree. The moon is at 1 degree. Pluto is at 1 degree. The sun is at 1 degree. We have a lot of that number, and 1 is the number of solo. It is of self. It is of you. What are the changes that you need to make? What is the transformation that you need to make? What have you not allowed to happen? So back in 2020, when we were presented with some really hard truths and some realities, and then all of that, and we got to sit with that for a whole year, and then we got to really process that, and this really reflected in the like quarantine and all of this stuff going on. As we made those major life things happen, and if you have been avoiding those changes, or you haven't made those changes, or you haven't stepped into this next state, this is going to hit you like a tsunami. I think that if you had started making the transitions and the changes as they came along the way, and you took it step by step, and you just kind of let these things happen, and you began to step out of that victim role, you began to let Uranus and Chiron and the North Node really help you step into this new healed self, and you really followed all of that through, this isn't going to be so traumatic. If you put your head in a hole in the ground and we're like, I am not going to do anything, I am just going to stay and not, and that's all over there, it's happening. One way or the other, this is happening. The changes are happening. The universe is shifting. It is creating a new pattern. Not a new pattern, because we repeated this pattern. Some of it was 300 years ago. That's the last time that Pluto moved into Aquarius. Almost 300. 1776. Okay, so this is a big change. And we are all in it. And many people are feel like they are surrounded by piles of manure, or they're earth shattering, rumbling, crumbling all around them. This isn't something that you can look away from anymore. And it is really time to step into that. And this cup of plenty and North Node, or finger of fate, then emphasized by this square. So you have Haumea square to Pluto and to Vesta. And so that's really calling out, where is your power coming from? Where are you sending your devotions? Are you finding balance between your power and your devotions? And not just devotions to God or to the goddesses or the earth or whoever you pray to, not just in your faith, but in your everyday life. Like, are you devoted to your family? Are you committed to the relationships that you're in? Are you really committed to what you're doing and what you're manifesting? And Pluto is like, here is the truths that you need to see. Here are the deep, dark secrets. Here are your deep passions and feelings. You cannot hide from this anymore. And with the moon at that sextile to Haumea, it's really calling out your emotions. It's saying, are you really manifesting your emotions in a positive, beneficial way? Are they helping you, or are they hurting you? And if they're hurting you, you are being pushed to make that transformation and to really heal from past traumas, heal from life, generational traumas, heal from things that happened last week. It doesn't matter. It is time to heal. It is time to step forward. It is time to take those resources. That's something, we talk about the destructive nature of Haumea and Sedna, but they also provide abundant resources. This is energy that is like, I am going to clean house, and then I'm going to stock all the cupboards. And so if you allow those transitions to happen and you allow yourself to heal, you will begin to have full cupboards. You will begin to prosper. You will begin to receive the things you need in order to feel safe and secure and in a place that you are happy. You just have to make those changes. And so this amazing little setup we have going on here that's it. Make those transformations. See the rubble around you for the truth that it is. Light your fire based off of your passion to be your authentic self, and step forward to manifest this next state of evolution in our spiritual, mental world, however you want to say that. But we are stepping through into this next stage. All right. So that's a lot. It's really heavy. Also heavy, we have Uranus in a T-square with the sun and the moon. So this Uranus, again, is very disruptive, is very expanding. It very much is calling on you to make these transformations and to it might call on you to express yourself in a rebellious nature. You might feel the need to like step out and be like, I need to say this, even if nobody wants to hear it. I need to express these feelings because I really need to get this out, and to really expand on that. It's also asking you, are you acting compulsively? Are you acting from a place where you're avoiding change? Are you working through your restless energy and your anxiety? Are you working through these feelings and really calling out that? Like, are you doing the things you need to do to heal as we make these transformations, both in our physical world with the sun and our emotional selves with the moon? And are we stepping into this new change productively? Or are we continuing to try to hide from everything? Because remember that Uranus is still sextile to Neptune, bringing in this need to see things from a different perspective. You need to step out of your reality. You need to listen to the other side. You need to listen to a higher power. You need to read a book. I don't care what it is. But you are being called to go out and to see the world from a different perspective so that you can make the changes that you need to make. It's crazy. You see it in politics right now. I hear a lot about people who are transitioning from like more, I almost said traditional religions like Christianity, because I guess in our modern times that is the more traditional. But if we think about the grand scheme of human beings, that's just the baby. But we have people moving away from these monotheistic structured religions and moving back into paganism. We have big changes happening all over the place because people are stepping back. They're opening up a book. They're listening to someone else. They are really going out and seeing the things that they need to see from other perspectives. Because when we begin to see things from other perspectives, we are able to make decisions that are not only better for us, but are better for the community, and that are based off of what we can more closely get to reality. Because remember, if 100 people see a picture, they're all going to describe it slightly differently, and you're not going to get the same. So if we all looked at this picture of my backyard and then everybody described it, they're all going to draw a slightly different picture because we're all going to see it from a different perspective. And if we are able to step back and really see that from all the different perspectives, we create a picture that is closer to reality. And so the more you go out and interact and communicate and do things, the better it's going to be for you, and the easier these transitions will be, because you'll be like, oh, from this perspective and that perspective and this perspective, and now I see that this is what I need to do, because I got all this different information that helped me to put together the puzzle pieces to be able to actually get a good grasp on what needs to happen. Which is brought in by, we have an interesting grand trine with a little minor trine in it, because both of these trines have Ceres as the point. So the great goddess of harvest, who provides great bounty, who can bring you amazing new things and helps to create a secure foundation to help create, who helps you to fill your cabinets. And so in this trine we have Ceres, in the minor trine we have Ceres, Saturn, and Peleus. And so this is where we get that working with other people, working with our traditions. Peleus brings in the traditional, this is the right way to do it, this is the way that we've done it, this is it. Saturn brings in the energy that says, what is the best way to do it? How have my actions before created this situation, and how can my actions in the future create a better situation? And all together, they can really help you bring realistic, reasonable dreams into manifestation, because both Peleus and Saturn are going to check your reality. They're going to say, is this the right thing? Is this karmatically a good idea? Is this what you need to be doing for yourself and the community? And Sirius says if you have that in balance and you are able to do that, you are going to step forward and be provided with this bounty. And so that is a very beneficial, bountiful minor trine. Now that minor trine, since it sits in a grand trine, so in this one all of the angles are trine. In a minor trine you have the 2 sextiles between Ceres and Saturn, and then Ceres and Peleus, and then you have the trine between Peleus and Saturn. So in this one, all 3 angles are trine, so it is a grand trine. So you'll have Ceres and Mars, which ironically is that counter energy to Peleus. And so now we have the masculine, motivated, do the right thing, but by might. Let's make those changes. Let's do this. That's the energy of Mars. Set, devoted, motivated, directional energy. We're getting this done. And so you have Ceres and Mars in that trine, really motivating you to step forward, to make those changes, to do the right thing, to stand up for the right people. If we're going to be an advocate for people, we need to advocate for the right things. You know, it's really easy to just jump on all of the bandwagons and say, yes, I advocate for everything. I'm an advocate. What does that even mean? Do you even know what you're advocating for? I see all of these people advocating for something that they don't even know what they're talking about. And so you ask them simple questions and they can't give you an answer. The answer they give you is like, and that's not, it's just like the sugar coating. And you're like, no, what do these people actually do? What's actually happening in these places? And they just don't know. They don't have the information. And that's being called out right now. And so you need the information. You need to know that you're fighting for the right cause. You need to do the right thing. And if you are fighting for the right cause, you will be provided with the bounty that fills your cabinets. Because Sirius says if you do the right thing, and you will reap what you sow. And so what are you sowing? Are you reaping the right things? It's probably because you're not sowing the right things. And then that grand trine also has Juno in it. So Juno is our devotions to our family, to our committed relationships, to our maternal love, to our place as the, matriarch, and that matriarchal energy. And so again, it is calling out, are you doing the right things for the right people? Are the people supporting you? Are you building a community that is strong and based off of good values? And are you stepping for those right choices? And all together, it's really bringing in this, take care of you, take care of your community and your family and those small circles. And as those circles are taken better care of, you can then take care of more. Your circles can then grow. Your ripple can reach out further. But that first drop has to be you taking care of you, and then you taking care of your family, and then you taking care of your community, and rippling out from that direction, which is kind of ironic because we've had this big ongoing thing with Pluto as it enters Aquarius, really calling out, who is your authority? Are you on this top-down authority? Or are you using your own inner power to step forward and really manifest the right thing? Because it's coming from your own inner authority. Are you being the victim and blaming everybody else? Or are you taking responsibility and making those changes and stepping forward? We have that repeated in this interesting Christmas tree trine. What it reminds me of. It will provide you with great bounty. It will provide you with exactly what you need, as long as you're putting in the right foundation, as long as you're doing the right thing, as long as you're staying devoted to yourself, to your loved ones, to your family, to the close circle, then that will grow out from there. And Mars and Peleus, they are do the right thing and let's get her done. Really pushing that forward. And as long as you step into that energy and you step forward with that, you're going to come out and prosper. Just like with that minor, or the cup of plenty and the finger of fate. Again, if we do the right things and we see the whole picture and we make the choices based off of healing, love, devotion, kindness, um, what we could call universal moral standards. I know there's a lot of debate over this, but I think no matter what, if you took individual people aside, not the government or the religious leaders, but if you took people aside from all over the world, I'm sure they've already done this, and you talk about what is important, they're all going to be the same. Like, we have moral values that are the same. You don't kill people, you don't hard R people, you don't go out and hurt people and take their stuff. You don't just take people's stuff, because that's not right. We all work really hard for what we have, so you should respect your neighbor. You should respect your family. You should respect the things that you have and treat the earth with love and kindness. We don't throw trash everywhere. You really have to, these are the things. And if we step forward with those values, knowing that we can do the right thing by ourselves and our family and our community, we are all going to prosper. This is going to be a beautiful thing when we come out of it. It's just going to be rough as we transition through. Let's see. Okay, so Grand Transition. All right, and then finally we have the North Node square to the Sun conjunction. So the Sun, I didn't talk about that. So we have the Sun's conjunction. So the Sun and Mercury and Venus are all conjunct right now. And they together are really asking you, are your thoughts, words, and actions coming from a place of love and pure intent? And is that what you're manifesting? So Sun, Mercury, Venus, Sun. Thoughts, words, actions, love, creativity. What are we manifesting? What are we, what are we prospering in? What manifestations are we prospering in? And how manifesting that with the Sun? How is that seen every day? What are you doing for that? And so as all of those things come together, those energies, it's really asking you, are you doing these things? And when it is square to the North Node, it is really asking those questions. Like, what are you manifesting? Are your thoughts and words and actions in alignment? Are they really coming from a place of pure intent? I think a lesson that we kind of overlook with Venus, because we talk a lot about how Venus is of fertility and love and money, but these are just physical representations of something deeper than that. We are, with the energy of Venus, is about manifesting from pure love. And if we manifest from a place of pure love, you will be prosperous in all of the rest of those places, because your energy is coming from that eternal source of self-love, pure love, unconditional love. Okay, so that's where that energy is coming from. Mercury is the energy of thoughts, words, actions. Are you in alignment? Are you thinking, feeling, saying, doing, all of those things in alignment with each other? And does that start with pure, unconditional love? And what are you manifesting from those things? The Sun moving into Cancer, so how are you manifesting your home? How are you manifesting your base? How are you manifesting this place that you feel secure? And the North Node says, I'm here to manifest this new beginning. Are you coming from a place of pure love, of good intent, of honesty and truth? The wind is blowing all my papers away. It must be time to finish up. So, this might be, possibly, probably, is a hard time for many people. You see this all over the world. You see this in people you know. I hear about this all over. I made a joke a couple weeks ago. I'm going to start a battered women's shelter, and I'm just going to have bunk beds, and all these ladies can come and stay until they get their stuff figured out, and then they can, step onto this next level. But the reality of the relationships that you're in, the job that you have, the place in your community, the place in your family, the place in your own self are being questioned and called out, and you're getting a hard reality check. So if you've had your head in the sand, it is like, pull that head out of the sand, you better get it figured out. And the faster that you open your eyes and you allow Neptune to show you what you need to see, and you see things from this higher perspective, the faster these transitions will happen, the less traumatic they will be, And the easier you will begin to fill your cabinet with this bounty from Haumea and Sirius and Sedna and all of these energies aligning. So it's not just one thing. I mean, I talked about this quite a few months ago and how this is like the doorway, okay? So before I was talking about how you could see the door and all these energies were standing on the other side of the door with outstretched arms, like just come this way, see the light at the end of the tunnel, and know that no matter how much destruction you're stepping through right now, it's going to be okay, and we're going to come out the other side. Well, now we are at that threshold, and it is, you are either stepping through the threshold or you are being pushed through the threshold. But what is the reality that you need to see? What are the places that you, where are the places that you need to heal? How can you be more find a better state of emotional well-being? Be confident in your authentic self and really step forward with your own power, putting that out into the world in a way that is productive and kind and helpful and is going to get back the energy that you're putting into it. So, with all of that said, I hope you guys have a fantastic full moon. I hope you had an amazing solstice. I imagine many people are going to be celebrating it this weekend. And it is a blessed time to go out and play in the water and really enjoy the sun and just be present in the world that you're manifesting. And when you stop to take that moment where you're like, okay, I'm going to be present in this world that I'm manifesting, if you look around and you're like, oh my gosh, what did that's that moment. Just allow the energy of Aquarius, allow the energy of Uranus, allow all of this to just flow right over you and wash away everything that does not need to be there, and step forward with the wisdom and the knowledge and the experiences that you have to manifest this new amazing beginning. So, you can do it. I promise. The universe says so. I hope you have a fantastic day, and we will see you guys soon.